If you enjoy the content on this channel, please like and subscribe. Land of the Lost is a 2009 American science fiction adventure comedy film directed by Brad Silberling, written by Henchy and McNicholas, and stars Will Ferrell, Danny McBride, Friel and Jorma Taccone. Loosely based on the 1974 Sid and Marty Krofft television series of the same name, the film was theatrically released on June 5, 2009 by Universal Pictures. The film received generally negative reviews from critics, although some praised Friel's performance. The film was a commercial failure as well, grossing just $68.8 million against its $100 million budget. It received 7 Golden Raspberry Award nominations, including Worst Picture, winning Worst Prequel, Remake, Ripoff, or Sequel. Production for the film began on March 4, 2008. Only 1 week's worth of filming was shot using a large-scale soundstage with green screen technology. The rest of the filming took place on location in places such as Dumont Dunes in the Mojave Desert and La Brea Tar Pits in Hancock Park and Trona, California. Now to discuss some differences from the original series. The film is a campy parody of the original TV series about the adventures of a father and his 2 children. While the first names remain the same, the film converts the Holly character into an unrelated research assistant to allow for more risque humour because she is the main character's love interest. Will, instead of being a son, is a theme park owner. Rick Marshall is a paleontologist in the film, not a park ranger as in the original series. Instead of the puppet stop-motion technique used in the original series, the film's creators relied on computer-generated imagery. While the original Saturday morning show targeted a child audience, the film is intended for an adult audience, includes profanity, sex, drug references, and other adult-orientated material. The actors who played Holly and Will in the original TV series, Kathy Coleman and Wesley Ear, filmed cameos for the film. However, the final version of the film does not include these scenes. Some interesting trivia notes. The lonely road in the desert that the main characters drive down to get to the cave is the same road used in the climax of Seven, released in 1995. Before Holly Cantrell, played by Friel, takes her shirt off and rips her pants into shorts, her outfit is almost exactly the same as Holly Marshall's outfit in The Land of the Lost, released in 1974. As the raft goes over the waterfall, Dr. Rick Marshall says this is not a routine expedition. The theme song from the original 1974 television show started with the lyrics, "Marshall, Will and Holly on a routine expedition." Ron Harper, who portrayed Jack Marshall, Rick's brother in the 3rd and last season of Land of the Lost, was invited to shoot a cameo in this movie. He declined because, in his own words, "I have this problem with dinosaur urine jokes." Universal issued a strange Chaka backpack as a promotional giveaway item. This creature has a plastic face, a furry body, and a zippered compartment on its back, and a detachable strap on its hands and feet that reads Summer 2009. Ronald Mayer, president of Universal Studios, had given a speech at the 2011 Savannah Film Festival where he publicly disparaged the film. Mayer said, "Land of the Lost was just crap. I mean, there was no excuse for it. The best intentions all went wrong." Originally, Robert Rodriguez had met with Will Ferrell to direct the film. The music playing on the crappy boombox, which the cast members eventually have to sing themselves in the egg field, is the opening number in a chorus line released in 1985. Adam McKay was originally going to direct this film. He did, however, remain as an executive producer for the movie. The original Land of the Lost series was remade in the 1990s with Timothy Bottoms as the father, although in this version his name was Tom Porter, not Rick Marshall. Bottoms and Will Ferrell are both well known for their impersonations of George W. Bush. This film was Sarah McCormack's debut film. In the film, Dr. Rick Marshall makes a reference to Purdue University when preparing to fight Enoch. Whether intentional or not, the French word Purdue translates to lost. In a 2012 interview, Danny McBride defended the film, saying, "There are purists who I always read about, and they are like, I can't believe you are raping my childhood. If The Land of the Lost is your childhood and we're raping it, I apologize. I think the show is awesome, and I think the screenwriters, Chris Henchy and McNicholas, keep the mythology intact without taking it too seriously. If it was taken too seriously, it's just Jurassic Park. We've seen that movie before. This is a more interesting take on that tone." Sid and Marty Krofft apologized for the film at a 2017 Comic-Con appearance, calling it one of the worst films ever made, saying that they had very little involvement in the film, only sporadically visiting the set. Now, entering this film, I had no clue about the original TV series in the 1970s, so I had really nothing to compare it from. I'm a huge Will Ferrell fan generally and love his work, but I have to admit this is a complete and utter misfire. What I can't really understand is why would you base a movie on a kids-friendly morning show and then turn it into an R-rated comedy? Why not just write an original piece? It's rather perplexing and strange that the writers decided to do this. And the film acts like a sort of series of inconsistent sketches rather than an adventure comedy. As I said before, Ferrell is one of the best comedians going around, but in this film he sort of loses his way. He's just not really believable as Rick Marshall, and he has absolutely no chemistry here with Anna Friel. She, though, on the other hand, is the one shining light in this film. Friel is a very talented drama actress. Here she tries her hand at comedy, and I think pulls it off generally pretty well, but like I said, she doesn't really have much to work with. I'm also a fan of Danny McBride. McBride is known for playing the outspoken southern character, who's brash, crude, and yet absolutely hilarious. And he usually is known for playing the same type of role. And it's not that he's bad in this film, but there's really just not much to work with the script. And don't even get me started on the character of Chaka, an overly sexualized ape man, who I found more eerie than funny. The film just sort of loses its way halfway through. It doesn't know if it wants to be an adventure comedy, an action comedy, or just an R-rated good old-fashioned romp. It's lost, it's confused, and in many ways the name is quite appropriate. Overall, the film just falls flat, with a convoluted plot, lackluster humour, and subpar visual effects. The movie's tone is also inconsistent, veering widely from slapstick comedy to sci-fi adventure without finding a sort of cohesive balance between the two. The characters are also underdeveloped and lack depth, making it hard to become invested in their so-called journey. Look, maybe some die-hard fans might find some joy in the nostalgic value of Land of the Lost, but based on what I've read, this series is nothing like the original TV series in the 1970s, so I don't even think they'll really get that from it. This is a completely and utterly skippable remake that fails to leave a lasting impression. Overall, when you get such a talented cast put together like this, it's quite disappointing when this is the final product. Uninspired, forgettable, and really just not that funny. Land of the Lost is really a lost opportunity. Land of the Lost gets a 5 out of 10.